Dating a guy who can't stop talking about his ex. I want to be transparent, he insists, while juggling a friends with benefits at a festival. Now I'm left wondering how much transparency is too much. Should I walk away from this messy situation? Super long rant advice welcomed. I have only written a couple of posts, so please be patient if I have written something incorrect in the Reddit format. I 24 female met this guy 25 male on Hinge and have been seeing him for the past 3 weeks. We are not exclusive, rather we are in the talking stage. We have gone on a total of 2 dates, and arguably any normal person responding to this would have stopped after the first one, but I would appreciate open-minded advice as I am trying to navigate this relationship with good intentions. In the past, I have quickly dismissed potential dates based on minor and, to be honest, petty reasons. Therefore, I am trying to date intentionally by pushing through the icks, so to speak. In terms of compatibility and chemistry, we have similar likes and interests, and we can engage in conversations where we lose track of time. We work in similar fields and could still talk about work, even though both of us would prefer to discuss something else. He is new to the area, which gave me pause because in the past, I have gone on dates with guys who usually want a tour guide rather than a relationship. Again, I am trying to keep an open mind. During our first date, we engaged in small talk here and there, and when the topic of favorite cuisine arose, he mentioned that he loved Vietnamese food, which is one of my favorites. We discussed Vietnamese food, and even though he isn't Vietnamese, he knew a lot about it. When I joked that someone must have cooked here, he revealed that his ex, who is Vietnamese, was the one who introduced him to it. This was one of 5 instances of him mentioning his ex unprompted, until I asked about her later. Throughout the date, he would casually bring up experiences with his ex, 22 female, such as visits to good food places back home, and that she and he were each other's first in everything: first relationship, first sexual experience, first move-in. After the 4th mention, I asked, "You are mentioning your ex quite frequently on our date. How long has it been since your breakup?" He apologized profusely and explained that they broke up 4 months ago, shortly after he moved here. According to him, they fought often without resolution. He apologized again, stating that many experiences he related to our conversations were due to his past with her, and felt he could offer nothing to our discussions without mentioning her. I did not feel angry or offended, as I understand that this is part of coping with a loss, especially a first relationship. However, isn't it generally understood that it's inappropriate to mention an ex on a date? I attributed his behavior to coping and eventually agreed to a second date. On that second date, he ceased mentioning his ex completely. To my knowledge, his experiences without his ex include attending music festivals with friends. He said that he plans to go to a music festival here with a friend he met in the area, and since they are a stoner, he might try cannabis for the first time. They arranged to attend this festival before our date, which becomes important later. He then expressed a desire to be as transparent as possible, stating that he dislikes the notion of cheating, and if this were to develop into something long-term, he wanted me to know that he was also conversing with another woman. Initially, I found this surprising, as it felt strange to mention at this early stage, but I ended up appreciating his transparency. I value honesty highly in a relationship. I figured that since we met on a dating app, he was likely talking to other people. However, he then informed me that the other woman, 22 female, was seeking only a friends with benefits arrangement, and he initially agreed because he was new to the area and felt quite alone. He later confided that he disliked the idea of hooking up and preferred to seek a genuine relationship. He admitted that he was attending the festival with the friends with benefits since she had planned to go alone before inviting him, to which he impulsively agreed. We discussed the potential for a long-term relationship, but I shared my concerns. 1. He recently ended a long-term relationship 4 months ago, and reflecting on my breakup experiences, I did not truly heal until 7 to 8 months later. While everyone heals at their own pace, if you're still mentioning your ex on a first date, it raises some red flags. 2. If he is genuinely seeking a relationship, why would he consider attending a music festival where alcohol and drugs could be involved, particularly since they would have to camp together at a 3-day festival? That is likely to blur boundaries and become very complicated very quickly. After sharing my thoughts, I told him it seems like bad timing, and I feel hesitant about pursuing a relationship with him. As he is new to the area, I encouraged him to experience these things, but I am not ready to enter a relationship with him due to the aforementioned concerns. In response to my first point, he explained that he and his ex were constantly fighting and unable to meet in the middle. There were times he sensed both of them were checked out yet chose to continue dating. He believes he took the time to process the breakup during the latter part of their relationship and feels ready to move on so soon afterward. He apologized for mentioning her so many times during our first date, saying she was involved in most of his significant life experiences. Regarding my second point, he said he did not expect someone to be open to a relationship so soon. I matched with him first, and the friends with benefits match occurred 3 days later. She was more straightforward about her intentions while I took my time. He then emphasized that there are no romantic feelings for the friends with benefits and that agreeing to go to the festival was impulsive since he wanted to experience it and didn't want her to go alone. The day following our conversation, he told me that he and the friends with benefits had discussed their relationship, and he no longer wanted to continue the sexual aspect out of respect for his intentions towards me. Apparently, she was disappointed that they couldn't hook up anymore because she liked him, but he reminded her that their arrangement was intended to be purely friends with benefits. He also pointed out that she did not desire a relationship in the first place and asked her to understand his decision. He then inquired if I wanted to see the text messages, to which I declined, asking him to take my word for it. They were still planning to attend the festival together, and according to him, he is committed to maintaining clear boundaries with her. He also intends to delete Hinge and focus solely on me after the festival. In return, he requested that I also be intentional about building a relationship with him. He stated he did not want to apply too much pressure, and said that I could keep Hinge but promised not to friendzone him as we work towards a relationship. This next part is currently unfolding. Surprise, it has become complicated. I am unsure whether he has upheld his end of the bargain, but he has been texting me between shows at the festival and whenever he has downtime. On the first day of the festival, the Friends with Benefits was drinking heavily and began expressing insecurities about why she believes he does not like her. He managed to calm her down, she passed out, and then he sent me updates about what transpired. Okay, what on earth? I thought you had resolved this situation. I maintained my composure, though I question why he is texting me about this, and asked him what happened, suggesting he give her space and let her decide whether to respect his boundaries and remain at the festival or leave early. The following morning, she appeared to act as though nothing had occurred, and they resumed the festivities according to what he conveyed. Throughout the day, he continued texting me updates about the shows and sending pictures. That was fine. However, later that night, it seems she started drinking again because he texted me that she was crying again about him and other issues related to her past. First of all, why is he texting a girl he wishes to pursue a relationship with about the crying girl he used to have sexual relations with? Where is the disconnect? While I understand the value of transparency, how much transparency is excessive? I do not comprehend why I must be involved in this process when it is their issue, and even more, his responsibility to manage his relationship with her when she did not adhere to her stated intentions. As of now, this situation is messy. It has been problematic from the beginning, and I wanted to maintain good intentions, but this has become so complicated that I am taking a step back and texting less until the festival concludes. This situation is awkward and messy for everyone involved, and it has prompted me to question if I even want to pursue this guy in the first place. To summarize, it is a lengthy rant about a guy I have been seeing for 3 weeks who may be too transparent, making me wonder if I should truly value transparency in a relationship. Story 2. Frustrated med student juggles chores with a BF who promises to help. I feel like my cleanliness expectations are impossible. After months of letting clutter build up, is he really trying, or am I just a nag? My mental health is at stake, can he rise to the occasion? I 24-year-old female, cannot trust my boyfriend, 24-year-old male with household chores, and I am going insane. Hello, this is a throwaway account. I simply want to know if I am the problem in this situation. My boyfriend, 24 years old, and I, 24 years old, have been living together for nearly 1 year and have been in a relationship for almost 4 years. We share a strong relationship, yet we continue to face a recurring conflict regarding chores and household responsibilities. This issue is quite complex and involves how it has evolved throughout our relationship and our family backgrounds, so I will do my best to present this clearly. For context, I am currently a medical student, and I have been since last fall. He is taking a gap semester during his undergraduate studies and currently works part-time as a student manager at a university convenience store. Early in our relationship, I began therapy and underwent a psychological evaluation to confirm my suspicions of attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. The evaluation revealed that I have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, anxiety, and obsessive-compulsive disorder, specifically related to contamination. My standards for cleanliness used to be unreasonably high due to my obsessive-compulsive disorder, but over time, through extensive therapy and medication adjustments, it has become less debilitating. Nevertheless, my history with obsessive-compulsive disorder has significantly distorted what is typically viewed as reasonable regarding cleanliness. Before we moved in together, my boyfriend lived at home with his parents while pursuing an associate's degree, maintaining nearly a 4 GPA in preparation for transferring to a university where he would complete a full bachelor's degree. His room at home was often quite messy, with cups on the nightstand and plates accumulating on his desk over time. After transferring to our local university, he rented an apartment for 1 semester. He faced challenges with the more difficult classes but managed to pass all with approximately a 3.4 GPA. However, his apartment was in a deplorable state. Mold grew in cups, he hardly cleaned his room, and clothes were strewn everywhere. He never washed his dishes, prompting me to do them, feeling sympathy for his roommate. The following semester, the situation deteriorated further as he withdrew from a class due to failing it, passing the others, but his new apartment was even worse. The semester after that, he withdrew from all classes. After much urging from my side due to my own concerns, he underwent a psychological evaluation about 1 to 2 years ago, which indicated severe chronic depression and attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. He began taking medication, and things appeared to improve slightly. When he moved in with me last May, we had extensive discussions about our expectations regarding chores. We agreed to clean the bathroom at least every other week, wash dishes on the same day they were used, take turns scooping the litter box, and so forth. I do not remember much about how the summer went, as I was away traveling most of the time. However, things became increasingly problematic when we both returned to school in the fall. I began my medical program, which was extremely stressful. My boyfriend's desk became increasingly cluttered with bottles and other items. He rarely vacuumed, neglected the bathroom, occasionally washed the dishes, and fed the cats while scooping the litter box. My mental health deteriorates in a dirty environment, and I frequently asked him to tidy up his desk or something similar. He would promise to do it but would not follow through even after days or weeks passed. Nearly all chores were completed only upon my prompting. I spent my free time that semester vacuuming, cleaning, and folding laundry. We had numerous discussions about these issues, often ending in tears, and he would assure me that he would improve without any noticeable changes occurring. I noticed that when he was not experiencing a depressive episode, he managed daily chores like washing dishes and taking out the trash exceptionally well. Conversely, when he was struggling, all of that disappeared as well. At one point, I refrained from cleaning the toilet to see how long it would take before it was cleaned. I believe a month passed. He also stopped attending classes after the first month of the semester and ended up withdrawing once more. My breaking point last semester occurred when he promised to fold and put away our laundry, yet I observed the laundry sitting there for 10 days. It felt as though it was mocking me, suggesting that my boyfriend did not care for me. He would assure me that he would wash the dishes at night, only to tell me the next day that he had forgotten. Over Christmas break, he made efforts to improve, but his progress was unpredictable. Eventually, I sighed and did the dishes myself one day, which made him frustrated. He remarked that no matter how much he improved, I would never be satisfied. We engaged in a lengthy conversation that concluded with me agreeing to be more appreciative of his improvements, while he acknowledged the need to uphold his commitments better. This semester, now that he is on a gap semester, he has been doing better. I have not had to worry about the trash, dishes, or taking care of the cats. He has taken over the laundry, transporting it to his house and folding it all upon completion. However, upon reflection, I realize he has only cleaned the bathroom a maximum of 3 times since we began living together. He has vacuumed about 5 or 6 times. All of the deep cleaning still falls to me. I am just venting now, and I recognize that he has made significant improvements, but I am incredibly frustrated that I cannot trust him with household chores. I still clean when I am unwell. I grew up observing my mother clean while my father watched television, but my mother was also a stay-at-home parent. I just know that if I were incapacitated for 2 weeks, nothing would be vacuumed or scrubbed. I have discussed this extensively with my therapist, and perhaps it is simply due to my lack of understanding regarding his depression. My anxiety compels me to clean and remain productive to maintain my sanity, making it difficult for me to grasp what things feel like for him. Is my request for him to assist with vacuuming and cleaning the bathroom too much? I have started to feel resentful when he becomes ill, as that means he needs to rest, and I will have to manage even more responsibilities alone. I am aware that I have been expressing my frustration since he has mentioned that he feels he does not deserve to feel exhausted. However, I attend school 5 days a week, and it is not unusual to have 2 exams weekly. If he neglects his chores, I must take on those responsibilities. From my understanding of his perspective, he is genuinely struggling to care for himself due to his depression and believes it will take time for him to consistently manage more tasks. He claims to have made significant strides compared to earlier in our relationship, but I do not seem to acknowledge it. He feels that I am continually raising my standards, and he is endlessly trying to meet them. Please feel free to ask any clarifying questions. There may certainly be important details that I did not realize I omitted. How do you suggest I navigate this situation? In summary, my boyfriend has severe depression and attention deficit hyperactivity disorder and often breaks promises regarding cleaning or chores. He has made some improvements, but now that I am in medical school, I have less time and energy to devote to chores than I did previously. How do I handle this situation?
Story 3.
After my girlfriend cheated on me just months after our devastating stillbirth, she said, I was lonely and hurt, while messaging her ex from our bed. Now, as she recovers in a mental health clinic, I'm left questioning everything we built. Should I trust her again or walk away for good? My girlfriend and I have been together for approximately 3 years and 6 months. It has not been all sunshine and rainbows for sure, but we have managed to come this far. I have had to endure a lot of aggression from her and numerous mental breakdowns. I was always there for her, even when I lacked the energy. I work long hours, and my job is both mentally and physically demanding. In late December 2024, she unexpectedly gave birth one night. It was a stillbirth, and it truly traumatized us both. She had been complaining for a few months about pains in her stomach, and she even saw a doctor twice, but they failed to detect that she was pregnant. I wish I could have done more to prevent what occurred, but I thought that since she had consulted a doctor twice, who told her she most likely had irritable bowel syndrome, every possible step had been taken. I was quite withdrawn for a period. I would say I did not handle the situation in the best way. I was constantly there for her, comforting her and assuring her that it was not her fault or mine and that it would become easier with time. However, I was somewhat reluctant to discuss the details of what happened that night. In my mind, I needed some time to process everything, and she was not very understanding. She wanted to talk about baby names and treated it as if we had a child with us, while I just needed time to comprehend how I truly felt. Fast forward a month and a half, I purchased my first house. It was a significant step for me as I had been dreaming about it for years, and she was just as enthusiastic about moving. We searched for homes together, and she was more than happy to relocate to the area where we currently live. She was still mourning the loss, but I would say she was coping much better. In March, I had to go away for a month for work in another city. I maintained good communication with her and reassured her every step of the way that I was becoming more like myself and was more prepared to discuss the baby without losing my mind. I was a depressed mess for 2 months, and it was only just beginning to improve. I returned home on April 1st. My father had assisted with moving furniture while I was away. The day I got back, we moved into my first home. I had a strong feeling that she was unfaithful while I was gone. It felt very wrong, but that night I checked her phone and discovered she had cheated on me with an ex-partner. She even told him that night while lying in our bed that she loved him. She mentioned in their messages that she was seriously considering breaking up with me and that she would probably do so towards the end of the year. It seemed like they were essentially a couple after chatting for 2 weeks on the phone and then meeting for 2 nights before I returned home. After confronting her, she initially denied it, but then she realized there was no point in maintaining the denial. She explained that she was lonely and hurt because of the baby situation and that she needed some comfort. She apologized profusely, and I could see she regretted it, but I am not entirely convinced that she was not planning on ending our relationship. Please keep in mind, while I was working 14 to 18-hour shifts every day in a city I am not accustomed to, I was also securing funds for our new chapter. I primarily support us financially. She has a decent job, but she is paying off a lot of debt that she accumulated while in college. Since the entire cheating incident, we have talked extensively about it, and she reassures me that I am the only man she desires and that she did not mean any of the things she said to him. She wants to be with me forever. I have lost all my trust in her. For nearly 4 years, I have worked tirelessly for this woman, feeding her every day, comforting her, providing financial help every single month, and giving her a great deal of love and attention. I believed we had a solid foundation of respect and trust for each other, but I may have been mistaken. I am incredibly hurt by this situation and am not handling it well, but I am trying to stay as calm as possible for her sake. She checked into a mental health clinic today for 11 days because she is struggling to cope with the loss of the baby and feels extremely bad for cheating on me. I know she feels regret and remorse, but how can I be certain that this will not happen again in the future? She was always the insecure one, repeatedly telling me that I must never cheat on her and that I should call her to break up if I ever wanted to pursue another woman. She has broken her most significant rule. Cheating was a severe taboo for her, and she stated that she could not see us still dating if I ever cheated. My question is this: should I swallow my pride and give her another chance, or should I move on with my life and break her heart for the sake of my own self-respect and future happiness? In summary, my girlfriend and I experienced a stillbirth, and 3 months later she cheated on me as a way to cope with loneliness and trauma. Should I give her another chance, or should I walk away from this relationship?